Hello! Welcome back to another episode of On the Go with Guri, a podcast where I, your host, talk about anything and everything on my mind. Happy New Year, guys. 2026, that's crazy. But is it? Like last year was 2025, this year 2026. Guess what? Next year's 2027. I mean, I guess that's just how it works. But it is crazy. Like, we've been together for 6 years, at least on the Go with Guri. The YouTube channel, well, that's been alive for a little bit longer than that, but 6 years, almost. We started in June 2020, but we're on our 6th year. That's crazy to me, and that's so amazing. And I think that ties back to today's episode. Welcome back to my pocket of the internet. Our corner of the internet. It's ours. No matter how big or small, we, you and I, have built a corner of the internet where the boundaries are softened between different age groups, different cultures, different education, different sexualities, experiences, whatever it is. We've built a place where we can lower the barriers or the differences that we have that make us all unique and build a community where we can all exist for who we are, which is humans. It's kind of like a dichotomy, if you will. We're in this place, keeping aside what makes us different from each other to remind ourselves of how similar we are, but at the same time, appreciate and glorify and celebrate all of the details, all of the fine details that make us so beautifully unique and special and different. That's really cool, I think. I'd say so. Thank you for spending your time here with me today. However long that is, seconds, minutes, the whole episode. I genuinely appreciate you. Your time matters. Your attention matters. And the fact that you chose to engage with my thoughts and bring yours into this corner of the internet means more than I can fully put into words. Genuinely. Now, let's talk about something that's been on my mind. Back in 2020, when this podcast first started, I was going on a lot of walks. This was the COVID thing, right? Like, we all started going on neighborhood walks. And I would listen to podcasts, and there was a conversation that was happening back then about the future of society. Specifically, the idea that one day, everyone would have a fan base. Not millions, necessarily, but a few hundred, a few thousand, a few dozen, and that would be normal. And to be truly revolutionary, to be like a global name or a sensation, something extraordinarily would have had to happen. Something almost unbelievable. Fast forward to now, it's 2026. And honestly, I think we're already living that reality. There are so many people on social media in this day and age that are tapping into their creativity, that are sharing their thoughts, their stories, and building their own communities, building their own pockets on the internet, their own corners of the internet. I see this whole live 2026 like it's 2016 trend. And genuinely, 10 years ago, a post getting 500 likes was a huge deal. And having 1,000 followers felt rare. 1 million subscribers felt almost impossible. And it almost felt like it was reserved for celebrities or the once-in-a-generation creators. But today, those numbers are analyzed and they're changed. I hear people say things like, oh, they only have 1.5 mil subs. Yeah, I mean, like, her content gets a few thousand views. Think about how crazy that is. Think about how wild that is, right? Like, the language alone in this discussion tells us how normalized this has become, which is fine, I think, because at the same time, we're seeing a shift. People are gravitating towards smaller creators who more so fit their niche. They feel a bit more relatable. And that makes us as the consumer feel like we are connecting with another human, not just a social media influencer. And from the creator aspect, people are able to intentionally curate their communities, their markets, right? Their businesses, and their message. A lot of this transformation is coming from the platforms themselves. Instagram, TikTok, of course. Facebook, not really, but I think Instagram and TikTok primarily, maybe. Like Snapchat was a little bit before, but I don't think so now. But it's talking about Instagram and TikTok. It's the algorithms. It's the software. It's these systems that are actively fostering this kind of growth and connection. I think about this kind of personally, though. Like, I remember on YouTube, I used to post back in high school. And I remember people being like, kind of like poking at me and teasing at me. They wouldn't say it straight to my face, but like the intent of what they were saying, or the jokes that they were saying, or the sarcasm that they were using was basically saying, who do you think you are? Or like, do you really think you're going to make it big one day? It was skepticism and teasing. And we're high schoolers at the time. Like, okay, come on. Like, kids don't know better. But also, the generation and the discussion about social media was different back then. Content creation felt strange back then. It almost embarrassing. But so quickly, that attitude changed. Now, we're uplifting each other. We're encouraging each other to share because we can see with our own eyes within a matter of a few weeks, a few days, overnight, we're seeing the magic of social media. We're seeing that it is possible actually to build your own brand, to build a business, and to create a community that genuinely impacts people in a positive way. And that is magical. And it brings me back to where we all started. You and I. This community. This pocket that we have built together. And reaching 500 subs on YouTube. That's crazy to say. That's so crazy to say. Guys, we have 500,000 people here on YouTube. Our community. We have built basically a club of just best friends. All of us together. 500 of us. 501, including me. I guess I think I'm actually subscribed to my own account. But there's about 500 of us together. And that is crazy to me. That's such a huge milestone. But I will say, comparison is the thief of joy. We all know that, right? Because if I compare myself to the people who started before me, or after me, or post more than me, or post less than me, who look like me, or don't, I start dissecting those numbers. Their growth rates, analytics, statistics. And I lose something really important. I lose my purpose. Because the purpose of our club was never to be famous or to go viral or to get insanely, sickeningly rich. No, it was never about that. It was always about the mission. And that's tough. I always think about that myself. What is my mission? What is my intent? And what do I want to share with this platform? And I think this is a very daunting question to ask, honestly, because it's hard to pick. And it's going to evolve the way that we evolve. So here's an example. At first, when I started this podcast, I was doing a lot of interviews with people in my community. And the reason why I was focusing more on that is because I was talking to so many people and realizing that everybody has such a unique, powerful story to share that is in one way or another relatable to somebody else. I was talking to some uncles and aunties, and they would be telling me something about work, and I'm like, I know you're 2 decades older than me, and your experiences are much different than mine, but that story sounds a whole lot similar, or in a certain aspect similar, to an experience that I had in class the other day. Or I would talk to somebody else and I'd be like, what you're doing is so cool. I think more people need to know about it. Their journey of how they got there, what they're doing, what their thought process was, what battles they fought getting there. There's so much to learn from the people around us that I think we're really missing out on. Like, genuinely. Because this generation and this lifestyle that we're living is so go, go, go and self-focused that it's so easy to lose sight of our community and learn lessons from one another and supporting one another. That is just so incredibly vital in our development as well as the development of our society. Then I went to college and I came back, picked up this pod again, and my thoughts and views don't change at all. In fact, I am reminded even more so of how important it is after meeting such incredible people in college and learning a lot from some of the people I met, the lessons I learned from some of the relationships I had. I think now my mission has shifted a little bit, or my purpose of this podcast and my social media platform, to be more of showing you how much potential you have and how much of it is untapped. And that's why one of my favorite sayings that I've made up, but I'm not sure if it's already existed and I just accidentally stole it and made it mine. But for right now, let's just say that I made it up because that's what I think. But it goes like, be the unbeatable force of nature that you know you are. And I tap back to that every single day. I think one of my favorite traits about myself that I won't say has just come to me like that, I will talk about it because I've genuinely put in the work for it, is all it requires for you to achieve your goals is discipline and determination, and for you to realize that you are an unbeatable force of nature and you know it. So you just gotta be it. You literally are it. You know it. You know that you are. So stop making excuses and go be the unbeatable force of nature that you know you are. And I think this has formulated into my new mission and a new purpose of this platform and of this podcast. I see my siblings or my best friends really crave something in their life. And sure, it's naive to say, and it's so much easier said than done, to be like, just get it done. Just do it. like Nike. Just do it. I think deep down we make some excuses for ourselves. In some regard, I know everyone's situation is much different, and I know I'm very lucky for all of the opportunities that I have had. But in certain cases, more often than not, I think we make excuses for ourselves that really hinder us. Because we have doubts, which is normal. We dream big and we have doubts. Like, that really tells us that we're dreaming big. Because if you don't have doubts and if you're not a little skeptical, I'd say dream a little bit bigger. Because you could do it. You are an unbeatable force of nature. You just gotta tap into it. That's all. I think that's enough rambling for this episode. I started in one place and ended in another. But that's the beauty of this podcast and how we're always on the go. Thank you again so much for joining me in this journey that we call life. I'm incredibly grateful for every single one of you. You mean a whole lot to me. I love that you're here. Feel free to DM me on OTGWG which is my Instagram. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.